Culture shock. It's something everyone will experience when you leave your home for a new life somewhere else. Whether you're moving cities or all the way across the world, you will face culture shock one way or another. And that's the beautiful and scary thing about moving somewhere you've never lived before. When I first left home to study abroad, I was so excited. But as I went further on in my journey, not every step I took had that same excitement. Some of those steps were actually quite uncomfortable to take. But one of the most powerful aspects of being human is you adapt. You slowly change as a person to adjust to your new society. And that's okay. To a certain extent, it's kind of needed. So in this video, I want to explore what type of culture shocks newcomers face when they move to the western side of the world.
What is the biggest culture shock you faced after moving to North America?
I come from Lagos in Nigeria, and it's very much more busy. You can very much find someone who is just acting out in the streets, and here feels more chill. People are a lot calmer, they're nicer. Not that people are not nice in Nigeria, they are, but specifically where I'm from, you can't almost just like walk up to someone and just strike up a random conversation. You have to
How we did just now.
Exactly. If you just like walk up to somebody and just start talking, they'll probably think you're looking to rob them. But that's one aspect.
I would say two things. Number one is when you move from India, everything here is very quiet. When you're in India, you are living with so much noise. And number two, to see like how open people here are to like psychedelics and weed. And I remember when I first came, like that was just unbelievable to me. I remember when people talked about drugs, I was just like, you do drugs? And it was the biggest shock. And here
So
we are.
casual here.
About to smoke. I'm literally just about to smoke a joint right now. Let's see. So times have changed for sure, but I would say that openness to like recreational drugs.
I do think pubs here, bars here are quite different. Like in the UK, you can just stroll into a bar at any point in the standing room. Here, you have to wait at the front, wait for a host to come and sort you out. You can't really stand. I don't know, it's just less fun really.
Anything else that stood out to you after you moved here?
People are just very enthusiastic about stuff here, sometimes when it's not necessary.
Compared to the UK?
Compared to the UK, I mean, we're quite miserable back home. Like, we like to just like find the misery and stuff.
The transit, the transit was my biggest culture shock. Our transit in Nigeria is not as efficient. You have to struggle to get into the...
You have to jump on the bus.
Oh, yes.
My biggest culture shock was like yield to pedestrians. If you just walk into the street, no car is stopping for you. Somebody would probably just then try to accelerate and almost run you over. But here they're more respectful of pedestrians, which is very fascinating. I would walk in the middle of the street and just be like, wow, you actually fully stopped for me. Thank you.
Don't do that in Nigeria.
No, you can't. You can't.
Coming from Nepali culture, I had a lot of family around me all the time, and that was really nice because, there was always holidays. Coming here, all of that was like gone, and there was just like pretty much Christmas here. Whereas in Nepal, we would have like something every month. Yeah, and I still really miss that.
At our core, all humans are the same, but on the surface, our upbringing and cultures shape who we are. For example, I'm from Bangladesh and I come from a very conservative culture, but when I moved to Canada for studying, adjusting to the progressive culture of Western society took a lot of time. But with time, things were fine, and now I'm really happy with life, my work, and the friends I have here. It's good to be aware of how different one culture is from another, but you won't fully know unless you experience the new culture for yourself.
How is life here different versus your life back home?
If you want the quick story, this is my partner Manal. She's Pakistani and I'm Indian. The reason I share that is we just got married actually a couple weekends ago.
Congrats!
We got married 2 weekends ago. The reason I bring that up is when you think about love in North America, nobody gives a shit. They're just like, oh, who do you love? Like, doesn't really matter. But we have a lot of trouble back home getting the acceptances, to fully accept a relationship. So there's a sense of freedom of thought that you have here that is very difficult in other countries. Yeah, I appreciate that. But being here that you probably can't find if you're in India.
This scenery is much nicer. London's quite a dreary place. Even like the nice settings in England aren't even that nice. Like, this is way more beautiful. It's cool to have the mountains on your doorstep. Yeah, I mean, just look at this, really.
I would say here, I don't have family here. It's my chosen family, my friends. I've created a community here. You really have to do the active reaching out of people. Whereas, I think in Nepal, it was already just there for me.
Like an established community?
Yeah, it was already established, and I didn't have to work hard to establish that community because it was already there.
Also, life here is calmer. don't know. I know, yeah, we also work. There's little time to explore a little bit, but it's kind of calmer. But back home, it's like there's a lot going on, a lot of parties going on in Nigeria. If you're from, especially from Lagos, you party a lot. But
My thing is the opposite of hers. I like to go out, and I find that here people are a bit more reserved, so you kind of have to work for people to actually come out to want to spend time doing just random stuff. And I did move from Victoria. People are less like more inclined to just be outside, unless you're like into being outdoors and climbing and hiking and all of that. In Lagos, there's like the nightlife is bustling. Like you will always find something to do any day of the week.
There's always something to do there.
oh my God,
Always
there's
something to do,
always-
so it's always fun.
always.
While here it's more chill. You're kind of, you have to learn to be by yourself and like it. Yeah.
And that's what I like being by myself.
Right. That's why you hate here.
To be honest, change is good. Change is hard. And regardless if you enjoyed the change or not, it will make you a better person. Because even if it was an experience you didn't enjoy, at least you know that it's not for you, which is far better than not going for it. And 5 years later, you look back at it with regret and ask yourself, what if? So let's explore how our guests are dealing with the change.
What is something you did to adjust to the culture shock and adapt to your new life here?
Got a Canadian girlfriend. That helped me out.
How did you meet her?
We met on Hinge.
Love that.
Yeah, that's how all the romantic stories start nowadays.
And anything else you did, to blend into society here?
Not really, no. Like, there's a lot of Brits here anyway. So yeah, a lot of my friends are expats, people I knew back home. So I don't know. I didn't feel like I had to adapt or change too much, to be honest.
A lot of it is like coping, and when you move at like such a young age, sometimes the coping is not always positive, right? So I think one is, of course, making friends is a positive way to cope, but I think also like sometimes you're kind of like sad and lonely and you drink. So that's like a easier way to be social in a new setting. Not to say like, I got into that like, I don't know, like...
You didn't party at all.
No. I'm not saying I didn't party, but I'm not saying like I was drunk out there every day. I'm just saying like, yeah, I had fun, but I think alcohol was definitely a way that I coped. But like, that's not a way I would cope now. But also like getting really involved in the university.
I remember when I joined in my second year, I joined a rock climbing community, and then that was just my life for 5 years. And I joined the rock climbing community because when I was back home in India, I didn't get to explore the outdoors as much. Even Dubai, there's no outdoors. It's just sand everywhere. So I was like, what is the direct opposite thing I can do? Okay, I'm gonna go climb some rocks. So if people are moving here, I think Vancouver sometimes is a bad rep of it's hard to find friends. I don't think that's true. Is you could find friends if you go to specific communities. The other community that I really love is my jiu-jitsu community. I find a lot of good friends there as well. So there's always communities. If you really want to find people, you will find them if you want to make friends.
I found that like I needed to adjust my perspective on what I found or like what I thought was fun. So you have to like, bend yourself into other things and try to find ways to find other things fun. Like I've gone on hikes before, and do I enjoy it? No. I have no choice now.
And how are you meeting people? Like, what is your way of making new friends or meeting people?
I just finished my MBA, so like most of my friends I met from school.
Congrats on the MBA.
Thank you.
What is something you did to adjust to your new life here?
Outdoors. I was never an outdoor person, but moving here, I like you said, you have to enjoy being by yourself. So especially during COVID, I was literally just by myself most of the time, and I just started going outdoor, doing outdoor activities, and that's what. Now I'm an outdoor person, I would say. Yeah, so I've adjusted being an outdoor person compared to when I was in Nigeria.
If you're watching to the end, I want to thank you for spending time with me today. And if you're new here, I'd like to welcome you to the Kaizabi show, where we explore how to live your best life away from home. My name is Iram, and if you enjoyed this video, then consider liking it, as it helps YouTube give it out to other people who may like it as well. And subscribe to my channel, because I hope to see you in my next video.